Hello, I'm so glad you can join us. And so for today, I wanted to use this time. It's a yin class, but the theme for this one is a time for everything. I do know that someone had just completed an ultra marathon, so talking about time. So in this practice, you won't need props, but like in any type of yoga class, make sure if you do have props, you might want to have it nearby because it's really important to be in tune to your own body, what it may need. What I would actually recommend possibly is if you are kind of tight, and I notice I'm kind of tight, not for running a marathon or anything like that, but you may want to have a strap or a towel or something that helps you reach your feet later on. So with this being in, we're just going to start off in a nice comfortable seated position, whichever one feels comfortable for you. You may want to sit on some type of bolster or pillow, blankets, or just completely connected to your mat. And if you like, you can place your hands just gently on top of your thighs, above the knees, have your elbows down by your side, and then you can close your eyes, crown to the of your head up towards the heavens, and just stay here and connect with your breath, just thanking yourself for being here. Allow your time, just inhale and exhale. Just really, truly appreciate that breath as you inhale and releasing everything gradually. And you're breathing here for several breath cycles. And just take stock of what your body's feeling at this moment. And slowly open our eyes if they were closed. And get onto our backs. However, with our backs, we're going to have our feet in Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. So the soles of your feet are toward each other. You can just choose to see how wide or how large you want your diamond shape. And then we're going to be on our back. So in this case, if you notice, this is going to be a little bit of a hip opener. You notice you're on your back, but maybe perhaps your back's a little sore. You can choose a couple options. You could always put something underneath your chest, lift it up if you want a little bit more of a chest opener, or you can just stay here and just feel your lower back being connected. You may want to put some blankets or a pillow underneath your head, perhaps to see if your third eye, that spot between your brow should be at least level, if not slightly higher than your chin. So if you notice that your chin's usually jutting upward toward heaven, you might want to slightly tuck it down and perhaps place something underneath your head just to help keep connection there. You may have your hands, palms up toward the heaven, or if you prefer just to really connect with your breath, have your right hand on your belly, your left hand on top of your heart. Yogi's choice. As you deepen your breath, perhaps you can feel some of the innards start to relax. And yin, there's typically three modes that we consider ourselves. The first one is finding your edge, the place where you feel that slight discomfort, but no pain. There's some place where you're almost holding your breath, but in this case, you don't want to hold your breath. That's finding your edge. And then the second is to be still. And we know how beneficial, how much gratitude we can have when we are still, being still and knowing that God's there for us, that we can exalt Him. When you find that position, you find that edge, then you become still in that position. Not just really necessarily in your physical body, but more in your mental body. And at first, the third is if you want to listen to what happens, you may be able to go deeper, but that's again if the body is telling and sharing and communicating to your mind, it's okay. No judgment, just awareness. Okay, we're going to slowly start bringing our knees toward each other. So if you want, you can use your hands to kind of guide them together. Have your soles of feet on the floor. And then just have them at hip width apart. And if you want, you can always just make windshield wipers, whatever feels most comfortable. Everyone's going to be different. You may feel like, gosh, you know what? I may want to just straighten my legs. Maybe release that lower back, or just have your knees pointing up toward heaven. Some people, again, like I said, maybe straighten your knees and maybe kind of just windshield wiper down at your feet, and you may feel some release. Now with both feet, knees bent, going to bring your knees up to your chest slightly. You're going to bring both knees, drop it slowly toward the left side. So maybe your left hand is grabbing the upper right thigh, right above the knees. And if you can, perhaps you can reach your right arm out toward the right side. And here's your choice. So this is a tribute for Sharon's cat. You may do cat's points tail. So as you start creeping your left foot back toward the mat, your right leg is still over toward the left side. You may be able to reach down and grab your toes as if it's a cat points tail. So be kind, you guys. So remember, our first one is find your edge. Like I mentioned, I've been very tight, and this could be one of those things where you may want to strap, or you may say, I'm just going to let my lower leg, my left leg, be right on the mat, and that's just about it. It's okay. No judgment. You can get back to the same modes. This is going to help stretch your quads. Also, it's beautiful for spinal twist. Don't go too deep yet. As you're in this position, can you feel that stillness as if it's a calm lake? And your breath is that nice water, just nice and calm. That's your slow little ripples. No waves. as some of your fascias, connective tissues open up, perhaps, and only if it feels like it's loosening up, you may be able to move that left leg further back, or perhaps you may instead feel like your right knee can come a little bit more toward the right side, or perhaps it might be just your right shoulder. So everything's different and everyone's unique. We are uniquely created. So the more that left knee is bent so that your toes or your tactile is closer to your right hand, more of a stretch you have in your quads. But again, everyone is going to be at their own level of release. And can you feel your full breath as you inhale and exhale? Actually, feel a little bit more relaxation in certain areas with your exhale. I personally feel a stretch right around my right hip, right on the outside there. And of course, I definitely feel in my quads there. And if you do have your tail, release your tail and start allowing that left knee to come toward your right knee, and you can allow your right knee to come back so that they're stacked. Slowly untwist your spinal twist there, and then lay on your lower back, hug your knees to your chest, and rock a little bit side to side. This time we're going to go on to the opposite direction, so both knees are hugging toward your chest, and you're going to slowly lower and toward your right side. Now again, here's where your right hand holding on to your left thigh, kind of keeping it up into that 90-degree position, and then you slowly start bringing that right leg, the lower leg, back toward the mat. You may even want to lift up the hips slightly, and then just find your first initial edge. And though you may notice that it's very different from one side to the other side, you're just noticing it, just being aware of it. We're not comparing, we're not judging. Again, just coming to that initial edge. Slight little discomfort, but definitely no pain. Anytime you feel any sharp shooting pain, numbness, or tingling, it's your body's way of saying, I'd like to back out of this, please. And definitely do so. beauty of yin is allowing that time to have those fascias, connective tissues, get stretched, get that stress that's actually beneficial, allowing your muscles to finally just relax so it's not holding on, it's not gripping on. That stillness, you feel that peace, that calmness. And then if by chance it feels loose, perhaps you might want to go a little bit deeper. And again, a little bit deeper is to your own body's way of speaking. Perhaps you can reach back for your toe or bring the toe up closer, or perhaps it's just allowing yourself to back out of it a little bit if your body's asking you to do so. Deeper is not always better. In fact, many times. Most importantly, being present. So as I join sometimes sometimes having those knees stacked together and then having a bench starting. So just to guide the consideration. You may find this pose to be perfect for you, unintended, or maybe you prefer doing something different. So as you're slowly come out here, you may want to release your toes, your little cat tail, allow the bottom leg, your right leg to come back. So that's almost back to your left. Slowly sort of untwisting. Feel wow your lower back perhaps. Again, you have the choice to hug your knees to your chest. And if it feels good, you can even bring your nose toward your knees, perhaps because maybe your lower back felt a little bit intense, that was different. And then we're going to slowly get the seat upward. We're going to do deer pose. Again, initially I was going to have us do Baddha Konasana folding forward, but let's do deer pose. So this is the one where we have the left leg parallel to the side of your mat. And your right leg is now parallel to the front of your mat. So see if you can have your split bone sitting on the mat. Okay. That makes sense? Okay, so great. So you can stay in this position. You have the option. I'm going to choose to go forward. So you're going to feel some stretches most likely Everyone's gonna be different depending on where your muscles at. Some, if now check your left foot. So one of the things is check to see if your foot is tickling. Try to have it straight, okay? So be kind. If you need to, you can always put a small little blanket or maybe even this washcloth to kind of add a little roll underneath the ankle. If that's a little too intense. Option, but you're gonna probably feel a stretch, perhaps along your calf, most likely along your quads. So you have the choice to sit here and just take breath. If you want, you can actually even go um, forward. That's an option. And then, you can either have your hands, you can choose to use any type of prop if you prefer. And as I said, in the end, it's around that time. So Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, time for everything. Everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to tear, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. You may be able to feel this in your hip flexor. You may be able to even feel it along right above your hips, but on the back, lower back. Everyone's going to be different. We're down, look forward. You can always place your hand back underneath your shoulders, slowly come back up. As slowly and carefully, gently lift your left knee up, both feet in front. And if you want, you can draw little circles with your toes and feel the ankle. Probably your left ankle feels really wonky compared to the right. We're going to go into deer pose the opposite direction. So your left calf is going to be parallel to the top of your mat, and your right calf is going to be parallel to the side, the right side. So again, check that right foot. See how much it's tickling if you want to position it. See if your sits bones making contact. If you feel something's not contacting you, this is where you can always put a blanket or a towel underneath one side. Chances are you might be off a little bit. That's actually quite normal. And then again, you can choose whether or not you want to fold forward or stay here. Again, every side's gonna be different. I notice how one side, my right side, my right quad is definitely a lot tighter than the left. So you can choose to fold forward. Again, time is of essence. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Just think, in continuation of that verse, also he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. Perhaps as you relax here, find that initial edge. Once you find that edge, then you're able to be still. Just sense that breath, that inhale and exhale. That God breathed life into us. Perhaps use this time to hear what He has to say. The thoughts of how much He loves you. Another area that I read from that verse is, I perceive that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. Just imagine how joyful life can be, especially in good health. So, spending this time, allow the joints to open up, allow the connective tissues, ligaments, fascias to get the nice, perfect stretch. As you're in your stillness, you sense if there's any place else in your body that might be a little bit tense, and can you relax that? Can you surrender? Just surrender that tension. Maybe it's around your jaw, so you can always run your tongue from the right side to the left side of your upper teeth, hoping to moisten your mouth. If you feel tension in that jaw, perhaps it might be your shoulder, which is connected there. Find a position where your elbows maybe either open up slightly more so or have some type of prop to release that tension in that shoulder joint. Feeling the yoke. Slowly walk your hands back close to your body. And carefully allow your left foot to move over so that your right knee can come up. Whoa. And again, be kind. So you may want to windshield wiper your feet. So drop your heels in front. And then just allow your knees to go from one side to the other side. Just feel that sensation of the blood circulating back into the area that might have been closed off somewhat. So that's the other beauty to it. Now this time, we're going to have our feet straight. And what you're going to notice is if you feel like when you're sitting here in Asana, just in this seated position, if you feel like you're kind of leaning back, you may want to place a couple blankets or towels underneath you. And then we're going to slowly and right at the hips. So you might feel that tension along your lower back. So again, you can lift it up somewhat, but just at the hips, feel yourself go a little bit forward. Initially, try to see if you can keep that lower back straight. Again, find that edge. And it may be pretty amazing as you feel like with each breath, full breath, with your exhale, you may notice that perhaps you're just able to sink a little bit deeper. Now, if this is really bothersome, what you could also do is it's okay to have your knees slightly microbend. There's the difference there. Sometimes the biggest challenge again is not necessarily the physical pose, but what the mind is going through. And is very tied with meditation because of the amount of time during each asana pose. Sometimes people love doing so many activities, running around, not physically running around, but running around with busyness so that they can keep their mind preoccupied and distracted. Yoga, there's so many opportunities to really listen, be present. Instead of avoiding, we confront ourselves. Or better yet, we can be present with God. in this pose, you probably are feeling a pretty intense hamstring stretch. We're going to slowly start bringing your hands back underneath your own shoulders. Come back out of it. And then again, we're going to do Padasana, but this time the pelvis goes seeking forward. So now that you had that hamstring stretch, you've been working our hip flexor, you may find yourself in a similar situation. If you notice that you feel like you're falling backwards, just lift up your hips so that your pelvis can actually fold forward. And then you can choose to fold forward again. So in this case, you may take this opportunity if you want to even give yourself a nice little foot massage, toe massage. Just be very mindful for finding your edge. Slowly come up. Again, got your knees back together. And then we're going to now recline completely onto your back again. So to allow that hip to open up this way, if you do have something, you may want to actually place underneath, almost like a supported bridge pose, but then we're going to straighten our legs. So if you have a block or a blanket, or you could even place your hands right underneath your hips, that's an option, and you feel it lift up. So because we've been bending forward, you can feel this nice release because we've been sitting a lot with all these Zoom calls and meetings. See how tight it's shortened up. So you can always get a block or a couple blankets or bolster and just place on the lower end so we don't want it too intense. And then you can start off with just having your knees bent, but then if you feel like you want to just straighten the one leg, that's fine. and then the other one. You can either alternate between the two, but give it half an hour when I'll let you guys know. Or if you want to, you can use both. But you're going to feel the intensity to it. So again, find your own edge. You may discover that having one knee or actually both knees bent might be what I needed in order to have a little bit more than a 90-degree angle. So having a slightly more gradual get to an obtuse angle. And if you were to straighten one of the legs, that gets it beyond that 180 degrees. So this is what I meant by the obtuse angle. So if you're doing just one leg, I'll let you know when midway. Always have your hands back into that Shavasana, hands with the palms facing up toward heaven, just to receive His blessings. Allow your heart to open up. If you by chance had one leg extended, you may want to trade out right now and extend the other leg and then the opposite knee. That is healing this practice. So although this is the time of not embracing during this COVID world, this is a time to embrace what opportunity we have in front of us. Ways you can still be connected with others. Showing how much you care for them. Sending them positive thoughts and energy. And of course, praying for them. We're going to slowly bend your knees, whichever knee is extended. Link that sole of the foot onto the mat, and then you have both extended, bend the other knee. And then just stay here and just feel the release in your lower back initially. Feel as it starts to spring slowly back to its initial natural curve, lower spine and upper spine. Then again, because we haven't really been using your muscles, just mindfully engage your core first as you slightly lift your hips up to remove whatever prop you happen to have below your sacrum, and start to slowly lower your back down. You're going to hug your right knee toward your chest and release your fingers around there. Slightly straighten that left leg, keep that right knee hooked in. Embracing that right leg. Flexing both feet. You're going to bend that left knee. Bring your hands over to the left knee. Hug your left knee to your chest. Extend that right leg straight. Flexing both feet. Embracing that left knee. Breathe here. Just allow your breath to really feel that full, nice internal massage. Bring that right knee back. Hug both knees again. Extend your arms out to a T. Now just allow both knees to drop over to your right side again. Both knees stacked. Just gentle. Just recalibrating the spine is all. Not staying here too long. Engage your core as you bring your knees back to center. Hug it up slightly and then lower it to your left side. Control. Then we're going to bring both knees to center. If there's something your body wants to do, perhaps legs up the wall, a happy baby, or even snail, which is having your feet go over your head, touch the floor, you're more than welcome to do so. As we get ready to go into our final resting pose, we're going to do Shavasana, but we're going to do this a little bit more pentacle with your arms stretched out as opposed to lower, a little bit slightly down angled. So if you want, you're going to just bring your right heel to the right corner of your mat, and the left heel to the left corner of your mat. Your arms are stretched out, so we're in pentacle like a star. And again, check to see where your third eye is, that forehead, the space between the brow. You can always place a blanket underneath there, or if you prefer, create a nice little cervical roll, rolling up a towel or a blanket and place it underneath your neck, and then allowing that to slightly embrace your neck spine, the cervical curve. Of course, if this does not feel good to your lower back, you can always have your knees bent. Then you can even allow it to be a little bit more restorative by having your knees touch each other gently. As your arms outstretched, perhaps you can feel your, I like to call them your angel wings, your shoulders, that are tucked underneath. You feel that stretch along the muscles slightly. As you get into that final resting pose or dead corpse pose, we talk about time, the time to die. So when we die, we're surrendering ourselves to knowing what's there for us after this life. Complete faith and hope, knowing the joy that awaits us. With our arms outstretched wide, we know that our Savior had his arms outstretched wide like this. He did this to guarantee that we now have eternity. God, we still have time on this earth, so we're going to bring a little bit of motion back into our fingers and our toes, rotating our ankles and our wrists, and go in the opposite direction. Inhale, arms up over our head. Really stretch it out far away from us. And you may want to even bring the feet inward to stretch as wide as possible. I should say long as possible. And as you exhale, let's bring our knees to our chest again. And let's give ourselves a nice embrace. We're going to roll over to our right side. Then stay here for 2 full breath cycles. Keep your cervical spine aligned so you can use your lower arms. Your lower arm to keep it. Props your head up. Keep your eyes closed. We're going to press ourselves up into a comfortable seated position. Find whatever is comfortable for you. Your hands resting gently on top of your thigh. Palms facing upward. In this practice, we had heard us say there's even a time to have a voice. The voice, we use that one chakra for throat chakra. I don't do chanting much, but I'd love for us to do this. I wish I had unmuted you guys now, but you can do it in your own room. When we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through our nose, and as you exhale, you're going to hum, but you can do it in the sound of amen, so the A-U-M sound, so it's the om sound. Let's breathe in fully deep. Inhale here. Exhale into your om sound. Om. Full inhale here. Exhale completely. Breath, open mouth. Full inhale here. Complete exhale. Floating your hands together, palms touching palm, thumb resting right above your heart, tucking your chin down toward your heart. Thank you for spending this time with me, this in practice, time for everything, knowing that we can spend that time with Him, being still in all seasons. Thank you for coming. Thumb to your forehead. Namaste. Thank you.